Well, welcome everybody to another session of the Festival of Learning. I've been to quite a few of these and they have been fantastic. So kudos to Desiree and the whole crew, Rob and everyone who's helped put these things together. They're all on tape. I guess I'm speaking last century. They're all uploaded to the cloud and available for your viewing pleasure if you missed any of the ones up till now. And you won't want to miss this one because it is my pleasure to introduce past District Governor Jack Arney from the Rotary Club of Roseville. When Jack was District Governor, I think, first really understood what pivot meant when the fires tore down, burned down the city of Paradise, and Jack's plan had to shift. And what didn't shift, though, was that overreaching arc of getting people involved to help other people, to improve the world around us. And he led the charge for our district, not only in words and emails, but in actions. And so that is really something that I'm very, very respectful of you just based on that. But beyond that, during that same time, his daughter was an exchange student, Isabella. She was in Bolivia and she stayed at the family of Matthias, who was my son in an RYE from Bolivia. So Jack, were practically related and certainly related in the RYE world, which is fantastic. And last but not least, before I give it over to Jack, I do business with Jack. He's a professional. He's in the mortgage and refi and anything you need to know in that realm. I'm a happy, satisfied customer. Sherry and I have done business with Jack. And that's one thing you can always rely on with Rotarians in business is we're good at it and we know how to treat customers. So with nothing else that I could add to all that, which I meant from the bottom of my heart, please welcome past District Governor from the Rotary Club of Roseville, Jack Arney.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it very much. And thank you, District Governor-elect Desiree, for inviting me to give this presentation. I also want to say thanks to past President Rob Sachs, and he's also Assistant Governor now as well, for doing all the logistics to coordinate this thing so I could be here tonight. So tonight, I'm going to talk about really kind of a personal journey, as much as it is about, talking about new members coming into Rotary. And so much of what I'm going to share with you tonight are the before and after. I'm going to kind of take you through what I was thinking before I joined and as I was joining all the way through to where I am today, and in hopes that the things that I thought, experienced, and learned and changed from can be leveraged in not only your journey as a new member of Rotary, but also if you're going to be in leadership in Rotary. I hope some of this stuff will be helpful to you to just get somebody else's perspective. Much of it is things that you have heard before, but I want to accentuate some things in there in hopes that I can kind of give you my perspective and my view of it. And sometimes I have a tendency to go deep on stuff, and so I maybe my way of looking at it might be a little bit different, and it might be exactly the same way you look at it. So tonight, I want to start with what I'm going to cover tonight is, first of all, looking at what was the decision that you decided to join Rotary? What was your why? Why did you do it? And then I'm going to get into, why Rotary is important and what that could mean for you as a new Rotarian or new Rotarians coming in if you're in leadership, and my view on that. I'm going to cover sort of the what to expect as you're entering into Rotary, and then focus on a path forward. So what's a way to maneuver through Rotary to get the most out of it and the most benefit for yourself. And then I want to kind of end with, how Rotary will change your life and how it changed my life in a positive way. And you'll see the tie-in from the beginning to the end in that. And because a lot of the reasons I came into Rotary, they manifested themselves in changes in me. So I wanted to kind of go through that as well. So when people join Rotary, there are a lot of reasons why they do it. And each of you here tonight will have your own reasons, and there might be multiple reasons. And so I just wanted to cover some of the basic reasons that I see people join Rotary, and especially some of the reasons why I did it and what my why was and why I wanted to do it. And I think the big reason initially that I made the decision to join Rotary was there was something inside of me that wanted to give back. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do it. So some of the reasons that were running around in my head is I wanted to get more involved in the community. I'd always felt a member of the community, but never a part of the community. I had friends, I worked, I had a family, but I never felt part of the community. I just lived places. So community involvement was one of my whys. Friendship. I actually didn't join Rotary for friendship, but I know this is a reason that a lot of people do join it. I did end up with friends, many great friends out of it, but wasn't one of my initial reasons. But I know for many that join Rotary, one of their whys is friendship, is to meet people. And it's a great way to do that. The other thing that I was really looking for in Rotary that has been really the big driving force for me was leadership, was the opportunity to be involved and get to do some leadership activities that in my day job, I wasn't doing because of the nature of my work. Some things were and some things weren't, but leadership was a big reason and one of my whys. Business was a why for me, but it was a small why, maybe with a lowercase w on it. I knew that many successful business people had been members of Rotary, and I knew that by being involved in an organization like this, that my business possibly would be improved because of it. So it was another one of my whys, and it's a big why for many new members coming in. Then as I kind of started back was service and giving back. So that was the thing inside of me that I couldn't really define that I wanted. It was just some kind of internal yearning that I had to give back and provide service. And at the time, I didn't know that the word service was even how I was to describe it. I just knew inside that I wanted to do something to make the planet a better place. I didn't know exactly what it was, but it was just something inside of me that was boiling up, and I wanted to do that. So that was another one of my whys. So that's the basic stuff. Now you might have others. There might be other whys in there, but those were the big ones for me. And so I wanted to kind of focus on those things. So as I transitioned into being a Rotarian, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that I did, but I'm going to go into, why is Rotary important and what that could mean for you. And if you're new into Rotary, these are some things to think about. So one thing that Rotary does, and is very good, is it builds community. So it builds community within geographies, and it builds community throughout the world. So it really acts locally and also does globally. So Rotary is an amazing community builder organization. I could spend 20 minutes on this topic alone, but I won't. But I think if you're in Rotary now, you know this to be the case. And if you're new to Rotary, community building is a very important part of why being in Rotary is important and why Rotary is important in our communities in the world. Two is it builds leaders. The leadership opportunities within Rotary, if this is something that's important to you, is amazing. I've seen past district governors become congressmen and have written books and have become speakers and do all kinds of things, much of which they built in terms of their leadership skills within Rotary. So not only is Rotary a community builder, but it's a leader builder as well. Because of the sets of standards that we live by, like the four-way test and our ethical behavior, Rotary sets an example for building community standards in how we behave and how we act and how we conduct business and what we give back to the community. We actually establish a standard that unfortunately we're starting to lose in some cases. And this is what really makes, one of the things that makes Rotary so important is being able to establish community standards of behavior, of service, and of ethics and standards. So, and then we are in that same vein, we're based on ethical principles. And they kind of go together in why Rotary is important. And then the next thing is, Rotary is important because it is one of the places in the world, in our worlds, where people like me who wanted to serve, who wanted to do something to give back, can provide this platform to be able to join and provide that area inside of us that wants to satisfy our needs to serve mankind. There are lots of ways to do it, but Rotary is one of the best ways to do it because of the diversity of what we can do. And then the other reason why Rotary is important, one of the others is because Rotary has impact, not just locally, but globally. The longer you're here, the more you understand what the global impact is that Rotary has. Something, it's a real, for me, it's a real point of pride. As I took on larger and larger leadership roles, it became more obvious to me, rather just in story, but actual personal experience, that Rotary and Rotarians are trusted throughout the world, to the point in where we've been involved in peace mediation in many instances where others could not be in the position that we were in. And for me, that's really important because it sets us apart in a way that some organizations are in that same place, but many are not. And there's a respect, a trust, and a love for Rotary that is shared across cultures and across borders. And it's a very powerful thing about Rotary that we often, when we're focused on local, which is super important, we don't always realize. So that's another big thing. And it was a big thing that what makes Rotary and sets it apart. So then if you're new to Rotary, I wanted to talk about, what to expect when you're new in Rotary and you're a new member. What's going to happen? And one of those first things is you're going to be accepted, right? Rotary is one of the most accepting organizations I have ever been involved in. And I think one of the reasons why I have stuck around this long and have made a commitment to the organization was because of the acceptance that I received when I first walked in the door. You're also going to get a lot of respect, and you're going to feel respect inside the organization that you may not see always outside of Rotary, because the nature of the people that are inside of Rotary, and of course the value system that we have. So acceptance and respect are a couple things you're going to notice right away. You're also going to notice, and this is really kind of club dependent, but I see it across most clubs and district, is in a way you're joining a family. And a lot of organizations talk like this, and it's probably true in many organizations, but it's certainly true in Rotary. You're going to join an organization that acts very much like a family, pluses and minuses, but when things are down and you need people in Rotary will be there to help you. You are really joining a family, and it's an amazing part of being a member of this organization, and a benefit that many people don't realize until they need it. So that's another thing you can expect. You can also expect that Rotary is going to expect you to share your talents with us, to help the community, help Rotary, help the planet. They're going to expect you to, share your treasure. This is a little thing that we talk about: sharing your talents, treasure, and time, and your time to commit to doing service projects, helping run a club, helping run an event, helping run something in a district. And that's one of the things that we're going to expect as Rotarians come in, is to be able to share those three things with us. I expect if you come in with an open heart and open mind, you're going to have a lot of fun. Even on service projects where we're working really hard in the community, and you might even do something that's really physical. It might be hot outside. It might be a long day. I tell you what, that shared experience of toiling over something, even fairly mundane, that has this really nice beneficial result, there's nothing better in terms of bonding people together and having a great time while you're doing it than those kinds of things. Club meetings can be very fun, obviously. And I've never laughed so much than the times that I've been in Rotary. It's just been a fantastic time. So fun goes everywhere. So this is kind of a softer expectation, but I expect that if you're getting involved in Rotary, you're gonna feel some level of personal satisfaction. And I think that comes from a lot of different things. One is being part of the family. Two is the satisfaction of having this place where you can show up, where you're respected, you're accepted, and you can display your talents, right? Or do something that you don't do normally. And you're going to feel the gratitude from those that are the recipients of the time that you put in, or the treasure that you put in, or the work that you do to make a great service project or run something well in the club. And that personal satisfaction from giving back is really hard to measure. It's something that I've thrived on in this organization. As I've gone through my journey, my personal satisfaction with my own life has been enhanced greatly through my experience within Rotary. And I can't put a price tag. The number of hours that I've committed, time and money, is a pittance compared to how I felt about my contributions and just myself personally, and the people around me too, right? The other people in Rotary, and how amazing they are to do what they do. So what to also expect is you're going to build lasting relationships, because all the things I just talked about, being part of the family, projects, having fun together, that personal satisfaction, that feeling of acceptance and respect because of who you are as a person and what you're willing to do to help make the community a better place, you're going to build really deep, lasting relationships. And I would expect that to happen if you get involved. Some of my best friends now are Rotarians. And I told you at the beginning, that is not why I joined. That's not one of the results I was expecting, but it is what I got. And I'm very grateful for it. So lasting relationships. Being challenged. I think that anyone that's done a Rotary project, service project, run an organization, run different aspects of a club or district, or just been in leading position, you are going to be challenged because you're going to be limited on resources. You're going to have to convince people to give their time away for free. You're going to need to lead varying personalities with different skill sets. And you're going to have deadlines. And you're going to have challenges of what the objective should be and what the vision is. So expect to be challenged, but it's a good thing. Being challenged to me is one of the ways that I help grow myself. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But so expect to be challenged. And then I think the other thing, and this came later, but I would expect that you have to expect that your Rotary experience will change you. It'll change. The person you walk into Rotary that you are now or have been will be different than the person who has been in Rotary for 5 or 10 years and has been involved. You will change. And I'll tell you, you'll only change in a positive way. So to me, that the relationships and the challenges have been the greatest part of my Rotary journey. So now we talk about a path forward, and I'm going to talk a lot about kind of like, I'll relate it to some of the things that I did and my path and how I ended up, where I am right now, wherever that is, an ex-district governor who hides from everything now because I'm so busy with my business. But I think the first thing was get involved in the club. And, you know, my personal experience was this. So I show up on a Tuesday at lunch for my very first meeting. And by the end of that meeting, I have been recruited to be the co-chair of the biggest fundraiser. Maybe it was the second week. It might not have been the first week. It might have been the second week, but it was really close to a large club's, you know, biggest, how it funds everything that it does in the community. I was co-chairing right away. So, and because I'm like you, I didn't say no, right? I said, yes, of course I'll get involved, right? Because I came here to get involved. I just didn't know what it would be. And I didn't know if I'd be doing stuff 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, but it happened immediately. And so, and it was the best decision I made, but it was a lot of work, right? It was a big assignment. The good news for me was I got, you know, paired with somebody who'd done it before. So I got to learn for a couple years with that person. And that was the big thing, was getting involved and always staying involved and always doing stuff. And that also, I will tell you, set the tone for just pretty much what I did in Rotary, was always in leadership positions, because the first thing I got recruited into was that. So, and that kind of really set the tone for my path. And your path could be different, right? Your passion might be something completely different, like, you know, water or international projects, or you love marketing or something along that, or you're good in finance and you really dig that kind of stuff. So it just could be a different thing. Mine was leadership. And so when I got offered that role, I said, yep, I'm in. And then doing service projects. So I go into this leadership role, and I got kind of pigeonholed for a while, and I did spend all my time making money for the club. And that's kind of what I did in Rotary for 5 or 6 years, right? So I was seeing, you know, the part of Rotary where the, you know, the lifeblood, the finances and the monies were coming in. I was involved in just making sure that you know, the money continued to come into the club so that we could do these service projects. And my worldview of Rotary for quite a long time was not about service projects. I was so busy running this big event, and it was a year-round process, right? So what I did was a lot of Saturdays I would go do service projects just so I would get to know everybody. Because I was pretty isolated on my little fundraiser, or big fundraiser. And it was only a group of, you know, 8 to 12, and really just mostly 4 or 5. And so I got kind of isolated. So the service projects enabled me to spread my wings. So for you, as your path forward, you know, get involved in something early and start going, and then also do service projects. Volunteer to go on a Saturday to clean up a park, or do something maybe for the district, or do a reading thing with the children, or something along those lines. So to me, that immediately got me just deeper into Rotary, and then, you know, getting all the benefits I talked about earlier, and the things that I didn't know that are so great about Rotary that I'll talk a little bit more here in a little bit. Training, there's tons of training that's available from Rotary. There's district training, clubs have training, the RI website's got lots of training. So if you really want to learn more about the Rotary world, there's stuff on YouTube. There's stuff on some of the other video sites. I can't remember some of the names of them right now, but there's tons of stuff out there. And I would recommend, one thing I didn't do a lot of was the training components. I learned Rotary through doing and hearing and stuff. And it was only later that I took advantage of the training. I realized, boy, I would have known a lot of other, you know, I would have been much more informed and had more ideas about things that I could do had I spent the time early on going through the training. So I recommend highly that you take advantage of the training opportunities that are not only on the website, but also that are done at the district and the club level. So that's another thing I would really stress upon any new member, is to really take advantage of the training, because there's lots of training available that'll help you inside Rotary, but also outside. Social events, clubs have different amounts of social events. Some do lots of social events, some do few. Right now it's harder, obviously, but in the past we were always doing social events. And, you know, going to these social events and just meeting people outside of the context of the club meeting, which are always fun, right? But these social events are where that tissue starts to connect and those relationships get deeper. And then when you're working together on projects, it's just so much easier and so much more fulfilling because you're deepening these relationships with these people and meeting new people, meeting spouses you may not get, you know, to meet at their meetings. So it really expands that family and it really connects the family together even tighter. And a lot of these, you know, these events are almost always fun because there's some kooky thing going on, right? Somebody has some harebrained idea on how to make it fun, whether it's dressing up or some theme or, you know, some event you're going to do. So that's another thing. Always get involved in social events when you can. This one I just kind of threw out there. And mostly because there's a lot of social media stuff out there at the district from RI and clubs where you can learn more about what the club's done. Or you can also, like some clubs will, you know, project out club meetings using social media or events. And you can go attend other clubs' meetings, you know, remotely through the internet, especially right now, and learn what other clubs are doing and get a better feel for Rotary overall. So I thought, you know, social media is going to become even more and more important, I think, as a communicating vehicle than it is even now within Rotary. We adopt it more and more. So leverage social media as you move forward and you know, and that's also means letting people know that you're in Rotary, right? With your friends and family in your sphere of influence. So attend district events. District events can be a lot of fun as well. You get to meet more people in the district, get a better sense of, you know, how large the Rotary audience is in the district. And it starts to, you know, when you start doing the district events, you start getting as a club member, a new club member, you're starting to get that sense of how big Rotary is. You know, the district kind of gives you that, okay, this is the regional size. You start doing the math in your head, you can start to realize, you know, how large the organization really is. Do business with Rotarians. So I didn't really come in for business, but I'll tell you what, I've done a lot of business with Rotarians. And I have these great relationships with Rotarians in my business. There's a huge amount of trust and the business goes back and forth. And I think this is a really key thing in terms of a path forward for new Rotarians. It's not what we lead with, but it is absolutely something that happens naturally. As you get involved in the club, you do service projects, you may do trainings together, you go to the social events, you attend district events, your network gets larger. Eventually, people, as they see who you are, how you behave, how you operate, will start to want to leverage you for business. So it's a really great business enhancer. And I think the last comment I'll make on this is that as you move your path forward as a new Rotarian, I challenge you when you show up to the meetings each week is to bring the best version of yourself. Okay. I can't stress that enough. And I'm going to tell you, it's not that hard to do because you're in an environment of acceptance. You're in an environment that's like a family, and it's very positive. And when you show up each week, I feel like it's that place that I go once a week to get away from all the crud that goes on outside in the world. And I'm here with my family who love each other, who look out for each other, who don't take each other too seriously. But we expect, you know, the best part of our hearts and our heads. And when we're there, so bring the best version of yourself on your path forward to Rotary. Okay, so now I want to talk about how Rotary will change your life. And this really just ties back to your why, right? So where I started was, what was your why to get in? I'm going to talk about how it's changed my life. And I'm only going to cover the things that it's done for me. There could be other things. So this is not none of this is a complete list. This is just Jack's list. So, and it's probably, you know, there might be a lot of it is your list as well. So how's it changed my life? Okay, I walked in not feeling connected to this community. Now I know people in this community. I know people that are in government. I know people that are in professions that, you know, I can just pick up a phone and call them and ask them questions. I'm involved in the school, church, all this stuff. A lot of this stuff happened because of my community involvement and and knowing what's going on and who the players are and who's doing stuff in the community. And so I feel vested in my community now where I didn't before. So the reason I came in, guess what? It happened. It changed my life as a result. Friendships. I think I started this thing saying I didn't come in for friendships. Not that I didn't want friends. I had friends, but I didn't know that was going to be something that came from it. So what I found was I got a ton of great friends. I mean, some of my best friends, really more than 50% of my best friends now are Rotarians. It's been amazing. And even my acquaintances in Rotary have been amazing. So that's been a huge benefit, and it's changed my life because I've met so many quality people in Rotary who, and I'm not trying to make everybody feel great. My Rotarian friends are of a higher quality in some cases than some of my other friends are, just because of where their hearts are. So that's been an amazing way of changing my leadership. My leadership opportunities have been amazing. I've done a lot of cool things in Rotary, a lot of fun things, and the leadership that I sought happened, and it's changed who I am. And I'll talk about that a little bit in the next couple of bullets. Business, it's here a couple of things. Not only the business that I've done as a result of Rotary has been great, but the way I do business has improved because of Rotary. And I think because of the acceptance from the people that I was working with made me really think about how I was conducting my business in the context of the four-way test and our ethical standards. And it really made me focus on how does the customer feel about this stuff? And I think I became better and more artful in how I conduct my business as a result of my Rotary experience. My satisfaction for giving back to the community was turned out in real life to be much more than I had thought going in, right? I just wanted to kind of feel good about, you know, doing some things for the community and satisfying that need I had. But how I feel about it now, looking back on what I've done, there's a whole lot more to do. My satisfaction level with what I've been able to do and the experience I've been able to have in giving back to the community has far exceeded anything that I expected. And so I'm in terms of, you know, feeling kind of, I don't want to use the word complete, but more complete human being because of my experience in Rotary, because I've had all these opportunities to do give backs in a lot of different ways, right? So, so here's one thing, and this is one of the things I thought about today. Certainly personal growth, very, you know, a lot of introspection, a lot of looking at the world a different way, a lot of seeing how the impact that we do globally with Rotary and that there's these organizations like Rotary that exist out there that are making the world a better place when really all we hear about is the negative, right? So, and then the experiences to be in leadership and to do direct projects in the community, to connect with leaders in the community, in law enforcement and government and all kinds of places has helped me grow as an individual. But I'll tell you one thing I thought about today is that, and nobody would claim me as not being confident, but my confidence, having been a member of Rotary, has actually gone up, which is sort of scary. And I thank Rotary for that. I've become a more confident person because of the experiences I had, because I'm more community involved, because I have more really tight friendships, and my business has been enhanced as a result. So that part I can't understate. So that's been a really thing. That's this is how it's going to change your life if you get involved. My global view of the world has changed because of the impact that we have across the globe. You go to a couple of some of the trainings, the meetings, the institute, not the institute, what do we call it? Rotary, the yearly meeting.
International convention.
Yeah, international conferences. When you go to these things and there's 30,000 people from all over the planet, you get a really good sense of the global impact, not to mention the stories that you hear about what we've done in different places, but that global view and enhancement and how people from varied backgrounds, from different countries, are able to bond together over this idea of service and giving back is really powerful. And it's impacted me greatly because I had never felt it before. So it's hard to, again, one of those things where it's hard to put a measurement on that, but my global view has I think made me a little bit more, I feel more confident about not just Rotary, but also just the viewing the world and seeing the world in a different way, which it's been really beneficial. So, and then finally, and I've talked about this before severally with people, but I talk about happiness. And so I feel like because I've been able to benefit from Rotary in all these different ways, that all these different experiences, meeting all of these people, being part of this worldwide community, and then also the ability to give back and do things that have direct benefit to people in our world, I'm just a happier person. And it's hard to say much more than that, because that was not something I expected, but it's what happened because of all this other stuff I talked about. So that's kind of my talk tonight. I hope that as you're entering Rotary, or you're new to Rotary, or you're going to be leading some new Rotarians, some of this stuff has an impact on you and it makes sense to you. Some of this stuff is very ethereal and it's very emotional, but many of it is very tactical and it's very direct. And I think with that, I just want to open it up to, does anyone have any questions?
Hey, Jack, I'll make a comment. Can I make a comment? I got to tell you, a lot of times when we do Rotary for new members, we go through the history of Rotary and where we started and who started it and what year and what the first service project was. And I got to tell you, I really appreciate this direction, because this really is about why people join Rotary and why people stay in Rotary. And I just related so much personally to all of the stuff you said. And it was like, yeah. And I didn't join to be a leader. I walked into my first Rotary meeting in 2009 and I saw the president. I thought, oh, I could never do that. And here we are. I'm getting ready to be district governor. I mean, I absolutely had no idea that I could do that. I didn't have the confidence going in that Jack did, but it did help give me confidence. And everything you said, I just really related to. Thank you so much for this perspective.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Jack, I'll just say that I needed that. that was a lot of what I already know, but I had to hear. A lot of times you need that to really re-energize your thought process. And as membership chair of the district, I'm like, yeah, this is good stuff. I like this. One of the comments Phyllis made is she's been typing like mad during the presentation. Fortunately, this is being recorded, so if you missed anything, Phyllis, and you don't usually, because I know you're really good at taking notes. But if you did happen to miss something, we will be sure and have this on the district YouTube site. And I just want to say, Jack, that I think I'm still a new Rotarian, and I think I'll always be a new Rotarian, because there's so much we do in the world that not a day or a week goes by where I'm like not in a wow moment reading something or hearing something about what Rotarians, individuals, clubs, districts, Rotary at large in the world It's an amazing and extremely rewarding life experience to be in Rotary. So I don't see any like specific questions in the chat box that came through, but a lot of kudos. I'll just leave it at that. Lots of good talk, good words about you. And I do like what Mary Jo said. I see an elevator speech as we look for new Rotarians. I think, Jack, I'm going to invite you to our next membership forum meeting, which is coming up soon. And we're going to go over some of this stuff with people, membership chairs across the district who want to maybe have a little more one-on-one time and have a chance to go over those first lines. You know, what do you tell people when they say, "Oh, your Rotary Club, what's that?" Yeah. That's a not as easy a question as you think. So so what do you say? You know, you can't do 45 minutes. You've got 20 seconds, 30 seconds. What's some of the first things you would tell someone from your experience? I think using our personal experience is very important. That says like, oh, Rotary, what's that all about?
Yeah, you know, it's changed over the years, right? And so I'm more into the idea that it's really a growth organization for individuals who want to grow. And one of the ways that we enable that is through leadership opportunities and service work in the community. And I kind of take it from that position. I look at it perhaps a little differently than we do in sort of our messaging in the past, because I've really, as I've tried to share here, have looked at, you know, what do we really get in this, or so all this time and treasure and talent we commit, what are we getting out of it when we do it? What's it doing to us? How is it changing us as a person? And for me, it's been a growth story. And so that's what I focus on. And I think most people want to grow as human beings. And it's a great vehicle for growth because, you know, even in the role I'm in now, which is kind of a has-been role, when I'm ready to go back, I can go back and reinvent myself and grow some more. And so that's kind of how I talk about it, right? I know we have a very service organization focus in our messaging, but for me, you know, the service work is really just part of the growth story. And it's part of how we grow.
So Sydney, District Governor nominee designee, Sydney Smith is asking, what's your target factor when you meet someone?
What's my target factor?
Yeah, and Sydney, you come off mute if you want to elaborate on that.
Expand a little bit on that.
Oh, well, it says process of elimination or something else. But again, speaking in text and chat is a little bit difficult sometimes. So
yeah,
Sydney,
I don't mind chiming in. Yeah, Jack, great presentation, man. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So I was wondering your target factor. In other words, when you meet someone, when does Rotary come to mind in terms of a possibility of a person to invite into the fellowship?
Okay. I size people up first, and I size them up on, do I think that they would be a good fit? And I use my own sort of criteria for that. And then what I tend to do is so a lot of my friends know that I'm in Rotary, and I have invited a few that I think would be good fits. Not all of them I think are good fits, because I don't think Rotary is for everybody. I think that Rotary either fits you or it doesn't. And so I think, you know, what I typically do is I just talk about the experience and the things that I've got to do in Rotary and how it's impacted the community. I just tell stories. I don't recruit from, hey, you're going to get this or get this. I talk about stories of what I've been able to do and what it's done for me, i.e. some of the things we talk about. So that's kind of, Sydney, when I'm talking to somebody that I think would be a good fit, that's kind of what I do. I talk about the cool things that I've been able to do and how it's made me a better person. Most of the time they already get it because they see how I behave anyway, right? And they often tie my behavior outside of Rotary to what I've done in Rotary.
Cool. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jack, we have 3 relatively new Rotarians within the last probably 10 to 12 months that are on the call. I'm wondering if any of them would like to share their perspective of maybe why they joined Rotary and what so far they see that maybe they're getting out of it or they're able to give.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If anybody's interested in sharing, so. Okay, I'm not going to put any of them on the spot, but I just wanted to recognize that we do have some relatively new Rotarians, and I'm going to guess, Jack, your message really hit home with them.
Well, that would make my day if that happened. So thank you.
Good.
Zyma has her hand up.
She's going to unmute.
Yep.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Zyma Kenemoto, and my Rotary district is, I guess, 5180 from Laguna Sunrise, Elk Grove. So I joined the Rotary, I would say it was in July or so. What inspired me to become a Rotarian is Angela Spees and Kevin Spees. So I find them to be very inspirational, just like as you all. Everybody's so much involved and so much dedicate their time, and I find that very inspirational, especially for the speech today. Thank you so much, Jack. You inspired me so much to take a leap, you know, get out of my comfort zone and try to service or best if I can. I'm very nervous right now. I will work on that because I so soon to, you know, I look forward to becoming a leader and hopefully inspire the young generation as well, especially for my 4 kids. To help contribute their time, not just with money, but their time, you know, a resource and all that's been privileged to them and pass on to future generations.
Yep.
Thank you.
Time is the thing.
The what? Sorry, Jack, can you repeat that?
Time is the thing, right? That's that one right there is, to me, is the most important, is the time that people are willing to commit to doing stuff.
Absolutely. I agree. I thank you all. Thank you so much. I've been attending as many sessions as I can. I work. I'm a full-time mom, a full-time Rotary notary. I'm a mobile notary. I do loan signings, so it's busy for us. And I'm currently cooking dinner right now.
What are you making?
So I'm making Thai curry, sour curry with salmon head, and then I'm frying up some tuna to dip with garlic vinaigrette.
Wow, that sounds awful. Can I have some?
Well, if you're not a seafood fan, then you would think it's awful. No, I love seafood. I could technically be a pescatarian if I can, but I also love, I'm also herbivore, or carnivore, I should say.
Me too. I love what you're talking about. That's awesome.
But thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Zyma. She has been to so many sessions, and it's really nice to see that. And Zyma, you will get that confidence, and I think a year from now, you will be a different person. Even then, from today, you will get that confidence, and I just am looking forward to watching you grow through this Rotary program.
Thank you, Desiree. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me.
Thank you all. Jack, thank you so much. Oh,
William, your hand is raised.
Yeah, I just want to let you know that, when I joined the Rotary last December, I already knew several of the members. We had some of us belonged to some club. I think my banker, was is our president. And I got involved with even our city attorney belongs. Basically, I joined when I just got elected to city council. So I am retired, but I do have several part-time jobs, and Rotary is one of them. My political connections are another one, and being a city councilman is another one. So, I've gone from like going 25 miles an hour to going like 100 miles an hour with all these clubs. Yeah, I do expect, what I expect to get out of Rotary is, the friendships and, and the connections with other people in the community. I'm in Lincoln, And various the members of Lincoln are of our Lincoln Club are people in the State Chamber of Commerce, or they work for the city, our city treasurer, and there's a few members of our political club too that belong to it. So, and I just expect that I just expect as far as service is concerned, I did want to join a service club when I got here, and I didn't know which one to join, but I eventually got invited to come to some of the Rotary meetings. They're all on Zoom now, so and that's how I got involved.
Yeah, that's terrific, because I feel like really strongly that community leaders like yourself, the more of those folks that are in Rotary, the better off our communities are.
Yeah, thank you. Like I say, I joined Rotary when I got elected to city council, but also our city treasurer and our city attorney are also members too, as well as my banker and several other people I know. So.
And Lincoln's got a very strong relationship with Lincoln Rotary, so they're very well connected, and that's really nice to see that relationship. It works really well in that community.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're at 7:51, so we want to respect everybody's time tonight. If anybody has any other questions or comments, we've got time for that. If not, let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Jack, thank you so much. Your heart and passion always comes through. And Bill, for serving us well as the tech guru. And for the many Rob Sachs we had on the meeting tonight. I don't know how everybody's name came up as Rob Sachs, but we thank you all. So, and thank you to our newer members. It is so good to see you here. And please reach out anytime if you ever have any questions.